everyone, it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. Today we have depicted celebrating what's coming up the holiday soon on March 30th as National Doctors Day. And the topic of conversation is related to Doctors Day is don't forget to celebrate Doctors Day with your providers and make sure your senior loved one is up to date with visiting their doctors too. We take for granted that we don't get to see our doctors often, but we also should be an advocate for our senior loved ones also to see their doctors also in good days. Not wait till it's imminent that they need to see the doctor, but also plan well visits with them as well too. A lot of it is depicted by your health insurance, or their health insurance, but having a close communication with their physicians is very important so they could see the progress of their patient and they become more up to date with them as well too. Why is Doctors Day celebrated? So give a little bit of a history about Doctors Day. I'm going to refer to my notes. It first started in 1933 in Winder, Georgia. And it has been borrowed every year since, and it's been selected as March 30th as the actual date of celebration. And it was used by, in honor of Dr. Crawford W. Long, who actually is an anesthesiologist, and all about the medical advances that these doctors have to be part of their practice, that they have to keep studying, sometimes being board certified, but more up-to-date information on medications, trials, a lot of the things so they can better prescribe and also give advice to their patients. So doctors everywhere spend a lot of time mastering their field of expertise, so we shouldn't take it for granted. So Eudora Brown Almond, who is the wife of the doctor in Georgia, believed that her husband and physicians deserved recognition and hard work, and for it to become a reality of an actual holiday. So it was celebrated back in 1933, and it was actually after 91 years after Dr. Long's remarkable discovery. So the part of the history is very important in playing part of it, that it is later on in 1958, the U.S. House of Representatives adopted a resolution, and then 1990, George W. Bush actually signed it into legislature. So we all know that this is so important that we should recognize doctors for their craft and also for being so dedicated to their field of work. A lot of things are not known about being a doctor is that they're first physicians that actually swore in with the Greek gods was called the Hippocratic Oath. And it is still utilized today when they cross over becoming a medical doctor as well too. And it's about their work in healing and how it meets their ethical standards as well. So 1400 physician legitimized in Oxford's English dictionary, so it was then that it was depicted as a name. 1849 was the first woman doctor, and 1982 was the first successful artificial heart surgery. So we can see how much in time has their craft developed as well. Traditions of the day is that a verbal thank you is always appropriate, saying thank you, doctor, for all that you have done and you continue to do, and especially on this holiday of acknowledgement. And also sometimes doctors receive little gifts of flowers, notes, or something personalized for their gift giving, and something that they could remember you by being their patient. But also how it made their life easier being the patient for all the treatment and care that is being rendered. Why we love Doctor's Day. They relieve more than just physical pain. Not only do they diagnose everyday illnesses, but they also address our fears, our loneliness, and our anxiety. They offer valuable advice to not only help us physically, but mentally too. By listening to them, they help us survive and thrive. I could be the best testament for it. My oncologist, who is wonderful, and yes, I will say his name, is Dr. Vikas Malhotra. He is my saving grace. He's in my four important squares, corners of my squares of my tribe. He, besides God, my family, and dearest of friends, it's him. And when I told him that, he was honored by it. The primary care physician is your nucleus, so that holds all the specialists together and information on your disease processes or your progression and all. So why we love it is, yes, Doctor's Day, and why we love our doctors itself is because they're more than just relieving pain. They're there for your quality of life. They put us back together again. I agree wholeheartedly, especially with oncology and surgery. And I could attest this personally with my son-in-law, who is a neurosurgeon. He takes great effort with his patients and is very, very astute to their needs and very, very compassionate. And putting them back together again, especially for spine surgery, it is something so they can have a quality of life. But he's there every step of the way through their progression. And you know what? It's not only putting us back together again, it's putting our lives back together again so that we can have a quality of life. So a surgeon is very, very intuitive to a lot of this well-being. And actually, they're our everyday superheroes as well, too. Many years of education and residency and research goes into being that astute of a doctor as well. Three, they're resilient. A doctor works on an average of nearly 60 hours a week or even more. And it's impressive because, you know what? They remain humble, they never tire, and they're there for what actually needs to be done. They work well under pressure. They're industrious, and they're attentive to each patient's needs, not as a clump, but individualized. If there's one person you can count on that will never burn out, it is definitely your doctor. I couldn't agree more from my own personal experiences and the experiences that I experience with a lot of my clients, how their doctors are very intuitive and very involved in their progression of care, but more importantly, as they age and how much their needs are increased, that they're there along that journey with them. I am blessed, as I said, for the doctors that are in my circle. There's different types of doctors. There's medical doctors, and there's also DOs, which is doctors of osteopathic medicine. And there's actually doctors that have a PhD that maybe is a nurse practitioner that has advanced their knowledge in their education of being a nurse practitioner. Same thing with DPT, which is a doctor of physical therapy, DOT. There is occupational therapy, so it's the PhD that is part of the acknowledgement that they extended their education process. Blessings is to have a good one in your circle for your senior loved one. As I spoke to a client yesterday, is keeping your senior loved one's doctor very involved. I believe in journals, just because when you make an appointment for your senior loved one, maybe it's because there's a need, the doctor doesn't know what happened up until that date of the need. So if you keep a journal of your senior loved ones and the progression of time, they can better treat as well too. They become more informative and make that appointment with them much more valuable. So make those appointments, but also have a lot of the records and notes with you with the doctor. Again, going to a doctor's appointment with a senior loved one, they're on their best behavior. Make sure that you aid them in their visit, but making sure that the doctor is aware of what is occurring up until the day of that appointment on a private level. So this way the doctor is also has knowledge how to address your senior loved one and his patient or her patient in the examining room. Because think about it. Yes, they're on their best behavior, like it's going to the principal's office. And if the doctor doesn't know to discuss it, it is a moot point of addressing it. So make sure that that is something that you utilize very importantly with your senior loved one's care. Good ideas for a Doctor's Day activity is give thanks to your doctors in your life for their hard work and dedication. May it be that it's in the hospital, in the communities at large. Send them a note of appreciation, maybe a little gift. Donate to a local medical center. And with that, so this way they can progress on with more expertise. So little good ideas for in words of thanks or monetary giving for future doctors as well. Schedule that much needed checkup. Don't wait for an occasion to happen or your illness to happen. Make sure that you keep them up to date with your needs as well too. So this way you're right on track for better health and better outcomes as well. And ways to make their job a little bit easier is to stay healthy. While doctors love to diagnose and help alleviate your problems, it is up to you to stay healthy too. Continue practicing routines like hydrating, very important for our seniors, and also exercise and mobility is important because if you don't use it, you lose it. And fuel up on balanced meals. For a lot of seniors, unfortunately, they might not eat the appropriate foods that are nutritious for them, that are protein enriched. Sometimes they're salt laden because if they're frozen food or they have a lot of sugary additives to it. Make sure that fresh vegetables and something is part of their diet. And if something they can't eat a large meal, separate it over a couple of meals. Small meals is great. Go back to the time when we were bringing up our children. Our seniors are very much similar to that as well, that they keep up with their meals and maybe in a smaller amounts. Vitamin supplements, make sure that you get that from your doctor's regimen, if that is okay for your senior loved ones, and making sure that they're on top of their medication management as well too. So that is a way for a doctor to be able to work diligently with your senior loved one and for you to have your senior loved one prosper and to have a great quality of life. So Doctor's Day, like I said, is March 30th. Make sure that you acknowledge it and be blessed that you are associated with them and being thankful for what they are and what they do for you and your family. No better ado is to actually have you go visit my website. And there you will find a lot of information. It is www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. There you will find my demographics. You will also find my bio. You will find testimonials, various options of senior living, also that of resources and a whole library of all these video talks. Before I forget, there is many physicians that actually are mobile physicians that could come to your home and also to a senior living community. What a great thing to see your senior loved one in their environment. So don't exempt that. If you have questions about that, certainly give me a call. And it's a great way of seeing your senior loved one more quicker and more in a comfort zone that they're being at home. We're coming upon the last of the month. So we're also looking into April. Can't believe it's going to be April. And that April, there is a couple of acknowledgments. There's actually Golden Rule Week. It's Occupational Therapy Month, National Healthcare Decisions Day, Parkinson Awareness Month, and Move More Month, also related to the physical part of it as well too. So I will be telling you what those topics will be through of April. And no time than ever to say thank you for viewing Tuesday Talks with Linda McKenna of Golden Rule Senior Placement Services. Have a blessed week, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you as always. Bye-bye now.